Greg Ball from New Orleans, Louisiana. The thing that has caught my attention now, my latest crusade, if you will, is mobile. And my goal is to help everyone realize that mobile needs to stop being something confined to the realm of the forensic examiner, someone like me, but instead that mobile needs to go mainstream. There's nothing in our lives that is more connected to our day-to-day behavior, nothing we touch more during the day, nothing that knows more about us, where we go, what we do, what we think, who we are with, than the mobile devices that might as well be physically connected to us. So my goal is to make corporations to begin with, and others realize, courts as well, that mobile needs to be mainstream. By that I mean we need to preserve mobile with the same regularity as we currently preserve, say, email or the contents of a network share. We need to consider mobile content as potentially relevant material and, importantly, unique from any information we get from other sources. And we need to begin processing mobile into our tools and our workflows and our review streams, because I think that there is no more probative data out there today than mobile. The problem is that mobile was not born of documents. Everything else we do in electronic discovery is really a legacy of a world of paper documents, the memos, the written communications, the minutes, and so forth. But mobile is a technology that is entirely divorced of a connection to documents and is all about data. Mobile is not only acting as a communication conduit for us, but mobile is itself acting as a witness. It is taking down information. It is pushing and pulling and collecting data about our behavior, our interests, our activities, our communications, our meetings, our social networking. All of that is intimately connected to our mobile devices. Pairing that with the growth in IoT, the Internet of Things, the instrumentation of devices we interact with everywhere now, we have a rich river of evidence to draw on. But I'm confused and concerned because rather than embrace these highly probative, very precise, and very personal ranges of information, sources of information, we're shying away from them. We're pretending that mobile doesn't exist. We're lying to ourselves and saying, well, we can get this information from somewhere else. And it's a huge lie, because where are you getting texts from? And who isn't communicating by text? Who isn't answering questions or posing questions in the form of emoji and emoticons? Much of what we choose not to look at in discovery would answer our most pressing questions, but we pretend it's not there. So it's important that we begin bringing mobile into the mainstream. Mobile's different. It doesn't answer our questions in quite the same way. It requires new eyes to be able to discern what it is that we get out of mobile and how to answer our questions. We have to adapt the questions to the data more than our traditional approach to a linear review of communications in the form of email. The ironic thing about mobile for me is that I've been in this industry, this profession long enough that I remember a time when people argued with a straight face that email wasn't a part of discovery. Email wasn't a corporate record, and therefore you don't get to make a request for production of email, and we don't have to collect, preserve, or review email. Well, today, of course, email remains at the center of electronic discovery, and mobile, which is largely supplanted email, at the rate of about 10% per year, we've seen a reduction in the use of email in business and personal life, and a commensurate growth of 10% or so a year in terms of fractionated communications such as texting and chat and so forth. So it's time for us to realize that even though we're not quite ready to embrace these devices the way we have Word documents, PowerPoints, Excel spreadsheets, and email communications, these devices are going to be much more key very quickly to answering our questions and in resolving our disputes than anything we've ever seen before. After all, these are our good old days in a sense. Right now, we choose to ignore the complexity of mobile and IoT And instead, we are fortunate that we only have to look at a handful of other items in relative paucity of volume today. We have to look at, say, email, database content, network shares, social networking, and cloud content. That may sound like a daunting amount of information, but in fact, we're going to be looking back in just 3 or 4 years and saying how easy we had it in 2017 because the volumes have grown exponentially and the complexity and variety of the data has also grown commensurate with the variety and tools that we use. We're going to be looking at Amazon Echo environments. We're going to be looking at the contents of text on the context of hundreds of apps instead of the perhaps 12 or 15 or 36 or so that we can parse right now using available eDiscovery tools. So enjoy your good old days because we're going to be looking back and saying, wow, it was so easy back in 2017.